Welcome to Positive Chat with Riesa, the show where we focus on the bright side of life. Each week, we'll dive into inspiring stories of overcoming adversity, spreading joy, and finding positivity in even the toughest situations. And trust me, there is no better person to talk about that with today than our special guest, owner and founder of Unlimited, Olly Liddle. But before we bring Olly in, we're going to kick things off with some positive community chat. And today's story is the perfect blend of community spirit, heartwarming kindness, and a dash of nostalgia. Let's talk about video rental stores and go back to the days before streaming took over everything, when we used to flock to places like Blockbuster. You remember those late fees? Or how about Be Kind, Please Rewind? Ah, good times. Well, in Pocatello, Idaho, the last video rental store in town, Video Stop, just closed its doors for good. And while video rental stores are a relic of the past for most of us, for some people, it's still very much part of their routine. Meet Christina Kavanaugh. For over 15 years, Christina, who has Down syndrome, has been going to Video Stop nearly every day with her mom, Tony. Picking out a movie has been a part of Christina's routine for as long as they can remember. It wasn't just about renting movies, it was about maintaining a rhythm in her day, something familiar and comforting. So when Tony heard the news that the store was closing, she was understandably worried about how Christina would handle this huge change and disruption to her routine. But here's where the story gets extra special. Enter David Craning, the owner of Video Stop. David knew how much his store meant to Christina, and he didn't want her to lose that connection. So, instead of closing up shop completely, he came up with a genius idea. He chose a small selection of film titles and brought the DVDs over to his adjacent convenience store, K&B Quick Stop. Then he converted a small corner of the store into a mini video rental section exclusively for Christina and a few loyal customers who have made Video Stop a part of their lives. Christina's mom, Tony, now lovingly calls it Christina's Corner, and shared that hearing what David had done felt like being given a reprieve after being sentenced to prison. That's how much this small gesture lifted a weight off of her shoulders. And let's face it, when you've got a corner dedicated to you at a convenience store, you know you've made it. So big thanks to David for thinking outside the box and showing us how kindness and creativity can help people hold on to what matters. Maybe it'll even inspire some other Christina's Corners out there, and maybe, just maybe, a future where we can go back to renting DVDs without worrying about the late fees. Up next, we sit down with a true inspiration, Olly Liddle. From battling cancer at 13 to winning medals on the world stage, he's proving that no challenge is too big. Stay tuned to hear how he turned the darkest chapter of his life into a triumph that's helping others reclaim their strength. You won't want to miss this. Welcome back to Positive Chat with Riesa. Today's guest is someone who has faced unimaginable challenges in life and come out on top, not just surviving, but thriving. He joins us today to share his incredible story of determination, resilience, and strength. Please help me welcome all the way from across the pond, Olly Liddle. Olly, hi.
Hiya.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us. We're going to jump right into this because your journey is absolutely incredible. At just 13 years old, you lost your leg to cancer. And although that wasn't the end of your story, as we'll hear shortly, I do want to acknowledge that difficult start. Can you take us back to that moment when you first realized something was wrong? What was going through your mind at that time?
So I was a rugby player. I played rugby ever since I was 7. You know, you would take hits, you would take falls, you'd get tackled and you would get bruises and what have you. And, you know, it was all part of the game. But I remember a game, which was my last game, when I was around 13. I took a tackle, went down on my knee, stood up, was going to try and run the pain off, but I realised actually what's just happened was kind of the start of everything. I went back to school, school trips, all the rest of it, and the pain was getting increasingly more painful. We saw a doctor, and he referred us to an X-ray, and that X-ray referred us to a consult, and then they broke the news to my dad that it was cancer, and that's kind of where all that whirlwind started.
What was the immediate aftermath like of kind of looking into this injury further and realizing it was a diagnosis of cancer? And I understand this wasn't your family's first devastating encounter with cancer.
Yeah, so my mum, she was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 7, and she passed away. So that was kind of my first time ever dealing with something like that. At such a young age, I didn't really know what it was about. I just knew that my mum was very ill. As a family, like my dad thought, if we've got through the tough of it, it should be okay to just kind of get on with life now. But that didn't really go to plan. When I was diagnosed, it was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which was a bone cancer in my right knee. I'm just so grateful to still be here and trying to help other people.
Absolutely. And we are going to dive into how you help people. I do want to talk about that difficult decision you had to make of amputation, though. I can't even begin to imagine having to make such a tough decision at just 13 years old. How did you come to terms with that?
Yeah, so once I was under the care of my consultant in the RVI, I think it was the first month of chemo, they gave me the option to salvage the leg or reconstruct the leg. They said, we can try and do a surgery and take the cancer out and replace it with metal. This would also result in my left leg, which is my cancer-free leg, being stinted, which means I wouldn't grow any further than what I was. And then the other option was an amputation, which meant clear margins between the cancer and the healthy tissue. So they said, we've had many patients come in here and have an amputation, and they're off skiing and snowboarding and running. I was like, okay, I know. I was like, I don't want to lose my leg, but in the grand scheme of things, really, like the amputation of my leg for the result of my life was a bit of a no-brainer in the end. But yeah, so it was a tough time, but
Absolutely. A tough time, of course, as you shared. But as I shared, you didn't just recover, you thrived. Let's talk about post recovery, how you pushed yourself, motivated yourself to get back into sports and even going beyond that, getting into fitness. And I'll let you share because it's just so inspiring. But tell us about that post
yeah, sure, yeah.
amputation life. Yeah.
So I've always been hugely into my sports and fitness. Once I finished chemotherapy and they said I was cancer free, I was a twig. I had no muscle on me whatsoever. My ultimate goal after getting the amputation was to run again. So I started a gym with a personal trainer. His name was Steve Sharp. I was bedridden for so many months. Like all I wanted to do was just kind of test my limits again and push my boundaries and see what I can achieve. So we started in the gym as soon as possible. Everything kind of tailored towards making me stronger to be able to run on the blade, which is a blade is a sports limb. Steve, he had some links with guys who are in like the Paralympics. So you got in touch with one of his contacts and said, we've got a kid here who's just finished chemo. He's making really good strides in his strength training, and he's quite good at the bench press. And then after close to a year of training, they were like, we'd like to take you to the World Championships in George Tbilisi and compete on like an international stage. I won a bronze medal for England, so I was very chuffed with that, and that kind of flowed into other things, and it was awesome. So. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, congratulations again, of course, on your win. It's absolutely incredible, as you shared, just going from that 13-year-old boy like fighting cancer to winning this bronze medal at a world championship competition. I mean, that's just such an incredible example of your determination and resilience. I want to talk about those other things that you said this led into, one of them being the launch of your own fitness brand,
hmm
Unlimited. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I always kind of had my eye on, you know, um, seeing what I was capable of. And I didn't want to. I didn't just want to stop at weightlifting. I wanted to try other things. So I started running. I started training on the athletics track and started running down trails. And I've conquered this goal. And I was like, what else is there to do now? Like, almost felt like the possibilities were limitless and, unlimited. So from receiving that blade, I competed in, numerous athletic competitions, 100-meter dash, 400 meters relay, bit of discus, shot put, all stuff like that. Just trying to find sports which, I could try. And, I was in kind of this mindset of I'll just try everything and see what sticks. So I became a qualified gym instructor. I took massive inspiration from Steve, who trained me, and there's not many people out there who are kind of specializing within very much tailored training towards specific people who have came out of, life-changing operations. And I thought, I've got the experience, I've been through that myself. I can help people, and we can see where this goes. So the name Unlimited, a bit of a play on words. It always comes up on spell check like it's wrong, but that's my name, My whole kind of philosophy within Unlimited is just to help as many people as possible, and show people that the opportunities are really unlimited, and whatever you want to do, you don't just have to, go and achieve medals or go and represent your country. If it's just, you finished chemotherapy, or you finished coming out of the hospital, or you're still as able as anybody else. I believe that your determination and resilience is within everybody, and it's just how far you want to go. I currently have worked with two guys who've lost limbs, coming kind of through the same process of what I did, and building them back up and helping them achieve their goals, which was only, I want to be strong enough to go to university, or I want to be strong enough to go to back to school, or I really want to go swimming again, stuff like that. I'm up to kind of helping many people as possible achieve their dreams and aspirations.
I think you already are helping so many people just in being so open about your journey and sharing your story. And if we can even just look ahead to the future, obviously one of your goals is continuing to build Unlimited. What other projects are you working on? I understand you're also doing a cancer research initiative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at the moment, I'm training for a half outlaw. I thought there was no better way of kind of doing this whilst also honouring my mum and other people who have went through cancer. So I'm doing it to raise money for cancer research. So the half outlaw, okay, if you don't know, it kind of consists of a 1.2 mile swim, and then straight into a 56 miles on the bike, and then straight into a 13.1 mile run. So yeah, that's my next kind of thing which I'm doing, and I'll be doing that in May this year.
Wonderful. Well, we wish you all the best as you go into that. Now, before we close today, I think it's important to acknowledge that your story is truly a testament to resilience and so inspiring, especially for those facing their own challenges. What would you say to anyone who's watching this, who is struggling in their own circumstances and feels like giving up?
Everybody's got their challenges which they face, and everybody's got their demons, which they've got to fight every day. But I think what kind of makes life all that more living is the hardships and getting over that. It makes victory more sweet, I would say. And obviously you just got to keep fighting and never give up. And that's certainly kind of what I had in my head when I was going through what I went through. And yeah, I wasn't going to quit. Kept going.
And kept going, you did. Olly, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. You're truly an inspiration to all of us, and your journey is a reminder that no matter what life throws our way, with the right mindset and determination, we can overcome anything. Thank you again, and we wish you all the best in everything that you do. For more information on Olly and Unlimited, you can find him on Instagram using the info on your screen. And for those of you at home, I want to say thank you for watching Positive Chat with Riesa. If you like what you see, be sure to follow our programming for more feel-good news stories. Until next time, I hope you have a positively uplifting week.